Now we are in politics. Tell me, you move from your election day in Rongo. Which constituency were you representing then?
Rongo.
Rongo constituency.
But Rongo constituency was Kamagambo and Sakwawendo, so it was two
constituencies in one.
At present, there are two constituencies.
The present day Rongo and present day Awendo. You are sworn in, and you are a first-time MP.
Yes.
And you're also a minister.
Yes.
How did that happen?
These things go by the kind of advice you are able to offer in government.
Wonderful.
And people assess you continuously. And most of the times when there was a crisis or an issue, I would be invited to participate in the search for a solution. And most of the time, my proposals were generally accepted.
Kenyans would want to know, how old were you then when you first became a cabinet minister?
88 minus 45 is what?
43?
Yeah, I think I was 42.
Congratulations.
I was a minister at 42.
You must have been one of the youngest ministers in that cabinet.
Not one. I was the youngest. But then, when Mudavadi died, his son took over.
Yes.
And his son was only 29.
Yes.
So he took over the youngest role from me.
So you want to say that it is sheer brilliance and hard work that catapulted you to politics and eventually cabinet minister?
Well, it is the system as it was operating. You are generally evaluated, you are assessed, and those days you would not get something for nothing. You are awarded on merit.
So you are minister for what?
Industry.
Industry.
I started as Minister for Industry.
Yes.
Then I moved to Ministry of Manpower and Employment.
Right.
Then I moved to Ministry of Transport and Communications.
Wonderful.
That is where I stayed longest, because I took 6 years as Minister of Transport and Communications. But when I was Minister for Industry, all African ministers came together in Addis, all ministers of industry, and I was elected chair of the African Ministers for Industry.
Wonderful. Another accolade.
Yes. Similarly, when I was Minister for Transport and Communications, again, all African ministers of Transport and Communications came together in Addis, and I was elected chair.
So effectively, you were both a Kenyan cabinet minister and Africa's basically
Yes,
minister.
Chair of the African Ministers of Transport and Communications. In fact, I traveled almost to every country in Africa to help them establish governance structures that would be beneficial to the development of the different African countries. I remember several times to Cote d'Ivoire. I remember going to Guinea, in Nigeria 2-3 times, Ethiopia many times, Somaliland, Eritrea, Libya, Tunisia. So I participated in the African area, in the African countries. I remember I even went to Gambia.
Gambia.
It's a small country.
In West Africa.
Along the river.
Yes.
I went to Guinea Conakry, again to talk to the...
During your tour of Africa as chairman of the various ministerial portfolios that you held, how did you find those countries comparing to Kenya?
Well, Kenya had a good lead position, but most of the countries I went to were English speaking.
Correct.
Remember, there was French,
yes,
and English.
Yes.
So most of the ones I would visit easily were English speaking countries. African development standards were generally the same, particularly the English speaking countries. Kenya, like Ghana and the others, were just about the same. the French had not been very good in developing Africa. So they came a little behind, and they needed assistance from the African Union organizations to be able to catch up quickly.
You were in charge of ministries which you ran fairly well by the records that are available. And I know that Kenyans know Dalmas Otieno as the most ministerial person that has ever lived. Can you take us through how you were able to coin your vision for your ministries and render services that were ranked to the satisfaction of the people of Kenya?
Well, I told you I was an applied economist.
Wonderful.
So it was a results-oriented kind of training right from university. I was in public service for 32 years. 20 of them I was a member of parliament. 15 of them I was minister.
So
now, during that period, the major requirement was how do we clarify the vision for the development of the African countries.
Wonderful.
And we who are applied economists, that was a major challenge for us. Like when we were in Makerere, we would go and take 6 weeks living in the villages, interviewing the clan leaders, interviewing the homeowners, seeing how you can mobilize the people to be more productive. So the general attitude was enhancing productivity in our community. And you remember I was also the minister who introduced performance management.
Oh, yes.
In
Wonderful.
government.
We have it to date.
No, they couldn't manage it. It was scattered here and there. But the main thing was how do we help the economy to do better than it is doing now? And that required ministerial portfolios that were very clear with what kind of performance. We even set targets, and you are to explain if you don't achieve the targets.
Wonderful. Take Kenyans through. What is your most memorable achievement during your period that you served as a cabinet minister, in whichever portfolio?
I think the main thing which we were able to develop was performance management, a performance-oriented culture of governance.
Wonderful.
That you are responsible for spearheading the development direction, productivity direction, performance direction for every portfolio and for government as a whole to be able to catch up with the rest of the world. I had to go to Singapore to see how they were managing their things, because Singapore was fairly advanced. I had to go to Malaysia as well. I had to go to Taiwan. I had to go to South Korea and look at how public administration is conducted in a manner that enhances productivity in the political economy. And that is what we introduced here in Kenya. This was a fairly challenging matter that after I left, the others were not able to cope with it.
That's sad, that's sad. Tell me, in your time as Minister for Industry, do you remember any industries that were developed in Kenya or in the Nyanza region, and also in your constituency, Rongo?
You see, industry was still in the hands of the Europeans.
Yes.
So really it was a matter of how do we train our people to be able to understand industrial processes.
Wonderful.
Ownership comes much later.
Correct.
Because of the capital requirements. But here is a case where technology is already foreign, management is already foreign, capital is already is in the hands of the foreigners. So industrialization at that time was really participating in a partnership with the whites, the Asians, and a very small number of Africans at that time without much ownership.
Great. I want to go local with you to Rongo constituency. You represented them for 20 years. Can you share with the audience your greatest achievement during your tenure as a member of parliament for Rongo, to the Rongo people?
I hope you are aware that in the whole of Nyanza, right from Busia up to Tanzania, Rongo is the most developed constituency.
For sure.
Up to now.
Congratulations.
And it was evaluated on an independent basis.
Yes.
And it came out, Rongo was the leading constituency, leading even all Kisii constituencies in Nyanza.
What were the parameters?
Well, the people who are doing the evaluation developed their own parameters. But me, what I was aware of is how to organize our people to focus on production.
Wonderful.
We would say if you are going to grow maize, we want output per acre as an objective.
Wonderful.
If it is millet, if it is beans, if it is nuts, whatever it was. And we were able to introduce dairy.
Dairy, yes. That was a flagship project.
Yes, in Rongo. Before dairy was brought to any other district or county in Luoland.
Correct.
Yes.
You are the pioneer.
Yes, and we got some very high-yielding animals.
Wonderful.
And established in Rongo. So on that basis, our people began to focus on performance. And I was able to select secondary schools under which particular teachers and head teachers had to be encouraged to go for top performance in those schools.
Wonderful.
And 8 of the schools did very well.
Yes.
So with education and agriculture, you are able to lift the standards in any constituency at that time.
I remember people in Rongo are very proud of you for having changed most of their lives in terms of agriculture and education. And how did you work on the area of post-school graduates and university schools? How did you manage them?
At that time, that was not a very big problem because the graduates were few. So long as you had the right performance and you got your degree, your employment was automatic.
You didn't need to know anybody.
During our time, you only needed to pass.
How we wish we could go back in time.
Yeah, but during our time, all of us said, those of us who had upper second class honors degrees,
yes,
there was a scramble. Private sector wanted you and government automatically had a job for
Correct.
you. Yeah.
Spoiled of choice.
Yes. So because the graduates were too few and the Europeans had been leaving and a lot of vacancies in administration. And you also realize that is the period the economy was expanding at a very fast rate. So a number of employees were required.
Wonderful. Maybe before I leave that sector of inquiry, tell me, in your political career, everything has its ups and downs. What has been the challenges that you have experienced in your political career?
My major challenge came out of a practice in Luoland that you had to be a Raila person to be elected. And my capacity and standards, I didn't have these skills of being able to be somebody's person. So I had problems
yes,
learning how to be somebody's person.
yeah,
When I was brought up under an atmosphere of a visionary target to be able to bring up people together. So following another person, the way I was required to do became difficult. So there was a campaign that I should not be elected because I was going to advocate independence.
But I thought this...
Or I failed to be an Odingaist.
But I think this is very simple. All you just need to do is to say yes sir, and you get along.
But that's what I'm saying, that I didn't know how to do that.
Yes.
All my life, as a student, I was a top student, all through, up to graduate level.
Yes.
So I was brought up as a person to chart the way, to look at the way forward for everybody else, not to develop followers to me, but to jointly work with the brains available to be able to spearhead direction for the African people into the future after independence. So I never had these skills of being a follower.
But I remember, as fate would have it, at some point you reconciled and you served with him in the same cabinet?
Yes, we did when he was Prime Minister and I was in his ministry, and we did a lot at that time.
How did you reconcile those personality clashes?
Between me and Raila, there was no conflict because he needed me and I needed him.
Wonderful.
But it is other followers who are seeking proximity to the leadership who would be able to create problems.
A rift between you.
Yes.
Wonderful. I want to leave that and say, I know you are a parent and you are a family man. And I know family comes with its issues, and of late I know you've had a few challenges. How have you been coping?
Well, it's decision making.
With the disaster after disaster, that's what I mean.
Decision making on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
So that I only keep in mind what is valuable. But once somebody has died, somebody has died. You can have a celebration for the deaths and so on, but you have to keep focused on what will be useful to those who are alive, not for those who are dead.
Wonderful. We want to conclude this by asking you one of the most important questions that I want to carry away. You know, Kenya today have a very unsettled population of the young people. And you know the biggest challenge is unemployment. What advice do you give to the country to deal with this problem?
You see, the youth population is big, not only here, all over Africa the problem is the same. Even the countries I went to, it was how best are we going to manage the youth, our youth population. And managing the youth population, first is education, and then second is employment. The main requirement is capital. We need government to save more money to be invested and not money to be used by people in leadership. The killer in Kenya is corruption. And I addressed many countries, and I remember I was invited to Nigeria just to go and talk about corruption only. So I spoke about corruption in so many countries in Africa. The biggest killer in Kenya is corruption. And it is just not corruption that the people in leadership use their power to pick public resources. They do worse than that. The Kenyans pick the public resources, put them in their pockets, but instead of investing those resources back in Kenya, they are taking it outside the country. That is our killer.
Thank you very much, Bwana Waziri. I want us to end it there. God bless.